The rain pounded against the window like an accusation as 15-year-old Ben stood in the living room of his family's modest suburban home in suburban Chicago. His mother's face twisted in a mask of fury and betrayal. "You're not my son anymore," she spat, her voice echoing through the house that had once felt like a sanctuary, now turning into a prison from which he was being expelled. With a backpack slung over his shoulder containing only a few clothes and his shattered dreams, Ben stepped out into the storm, the door slamming shut behind him like the final nail in the coffin of his childhood. The streets of Chicago were unforgiving that night, the wind whipping through the alleyways as Ben huddled under a bridge, his tears mixing with the rain. He had known for years that he was different, that the crushes he harbored were on boys like the ones in his high school gym class, but confessing it to his best friend had led to whispers, then rumors, and finally, the confrontation with his devoutly religious mother, Margaret. She had found a note he'd written, a clumsy expression of his feelings, and in her eyes, it was a sin that couldn't be forgiven. Not in their conservative neighborhood where church bells rang every Sunday and judgment came swift. By morning, Ben's stomach growled with hunger, but survival kicked in. He wandered to a youth shelter he'd heard about from a school counselor, a place called Haven House, where runaway teens found temporary refuge. The intake worker, a kind-faced woman named Lisa, didn't bat an eye at his story. "You're not alone, kid," she said, handing him a warm blanket and a meal voucher. It was there, in the crowded dorm room, that Ben met Jamie, another boy his age with a similar tale, kicked out for the same reason, but with a fire in his eyes that spoke of resilience. They talked late into the night, sharing dreams of a life beyond the rejection. And in those conversations, Ben felt the first spark of hope since the door had closed behind him. Days turned into weeks at the shelter. Ben enrolled in a GED program, working odd jobs at a local diner to save money. The city was a maze of opportunities and dangers. He navigated panhandlers and predators, learning to trust his instincts. Margaret's words haunted him, "You'll burn in hell for this." But he pushed them down, focusing on building a new identity. Jamie became his anchor, their friendship deepening into something more tentative, a shared understanding that neither had experienced before. One evening, as they sat on the shelter's rooftop overlooking the glittering skyline, Jamie leaned in and said, "We don't need their approval to be who we are." It was a simple truth, but it ignited a fire in Ben, pushing him to dream bigger. As months passed, Ben and Jamie moved into a tiny apartment together, scraping by on minimum wage. Ben got a job at a bookstore, surrounded by stories of triumph and tragedy that mirrored his own. He read voraciously, books on LGBTQ history, tales of Stonewall and the fight for rights, fueling his resolve. But the scars remained. Nightmares of his mother's face woke him, and he wondered about his younger sister, Emily, left behind in that house of silence. Rumors from old friends trickled in. Margaret had told the neighbors Ben ran away because of drugs, a lie that stung deeper than the truth she couldn't accept. Society's conflicts loomed large. At a pride event they attended, Ben saw the spectrum of acceptance. Rainbow flags waving proudly, but counter-protesters shouting slurs from the sidelines. It was a microcosm of the world, progress clashing with prejudice. Jamie, more outspoken, dragged Ben to rallies, where they chanted for equality, but Ben hesitated, fearing exposure. "What if she sees me on the news?" he'd whisper. Jamie's response was always firm. "Then she'll know you're thriving without her hate." Years blurred as Ben pursued community college, majoring in social work to help kids like himself. He and Jamie's relationship evolved, marked by quiet moments of affection. A hand held during walks in Grant Park, shared laughter over cheap dinners. But tensions arose. Jamie wanted to come out fully, while Ben clung to privacy, a remnant of his upbringing. One argument escalated when Jamie suggested visiting Ben's old neighborhood. "You need closure," he insisted. Ben shot back. "Closure? She threw me out like trash." The fight ended in tears, but it planted a seed. Maybe confronting the past was the only way forward. By 20, Ben had a degree and a job at a nonprofit aiding homeless youth. Success felt bittersweet without family ties. Letters to Emily went unanswered, blocked by Margaret's iron grip. Then, a chance encounter at a conference. An old family friend recognized him, spilling secrets. Your mom. She's not well. And there's more to why she reacted that way. The words lingered, hinting at hidden truths. Perhaps Margaret's own repressed history or a family scandal. Ben confided in Jamie, who urged caution. Don't let it drag you back, he said. But curiosity gnawed at Ben, setting the stage for a return that could shatter everything. The pull of the past grew stronger. Ben dreamed of his childhood home, the backyard swing where he'd first questioned his identity. Jamie noticed the change, the distant stares. If you go, I'm with you, he promised. Their bond, tested by time, became the foundation for what lay ahead. As Ben stared at a map of Chicago suburbs, he whispered, It's time to claim the truth. The drive back to Elmwood, the quiet suburb where Ben had grown up, felt like traversing a minefield of memories. At 25, he gripped the steering wheel of their rented car, Jamie in the passenger seat offering silent support. The familiar streets unfolded like pages from a forgotten book. The corner store where he'd bought candy as a kid, the park where he'd kissed his first crush in secret. You okay? Jamie asked, squeezing his hand. Ben nodded, but his heart raced. This wasn't just a visit. It was a reckoning. They pulled up to the house, its paint faded but structure unchanged. Margaret's car sat in the driveway, a sign she was home. Ben hesitated at the door, knuckles hovering before knocking. It swung open to reveal his mother, older now, lines etched deeper into her face. Her eyes widened in shock. Ben? She whispered, as if seeing a ghost. Emily, now a teenager herself, peeked from behind, her face lighting up. Brother! She cried, rushing into his arms. The reunion was bittersweet, laced with unspoken accusations. Inside, the living room smelled of stale coffee and regret. Margaret sat rigidly, avoiding eye contact. Why are you here? She asked flatly. Ben introduced Jamie as his partner, watching her flinch. I've built a life, he said, voice steady. But I need answers. Why did you lie about me? Why drugs? Margaret's lips tightened. To protect the family, she muttered. Emily interjected. Mom, tell him the truth. The room tensed. Societal pressures had shaped Margaret's actions. Church expectations, neighbor gossip. But deeper wounds emerged. Margaret confessed her own brother had been gay, disowned by their parents, dying alone from AIDS in the 80s. I couldn't watch it happen again, she said, tears falling. The revelation sparked debate. Ben felt a mix of pity and rage. You protected yourself, not me, he accused. Jamie remained neutral, but Emily sided with Ben, revealing she'd questioned her own identity, fearing the same fate. Family dinner that night was awkward, conversations skirting the elephant in the room. Margaret defended her faith. The Bible says. Ben countered with stories from his work, kids saved by acceptance. Love isn't a sin, he argued. The clash highlighted generational divides, conservative values versus modern rights. As days passed, staying at a nearby motel, Ben reconnected with Emily. She shared how Margaret's strictness had isolated her, leading to secret online explorations of LGBTQ communities. I think I'm bi, she confided. Ben's heart swelled with protectiveness. Jamie bonded with her too, sharing resources. But tensions with Margaret escalated. At a family gathering with relatives, whispers spread about Ben's lifestyle. An aunt confronted him. You're confusing Emily. Ben stood firm. No, you're the ones living in denial. The argument turned heated, exposing hypocrisies. Cousins with hidden affairs, uncles with addictions glossed over. Society's mirror reflected back harshly. News of local anti-gay bills fueled discussions. Margaret supported them, citing traditional family. Ben challenged. What about our family? You broke it. Jamie, ever the mediator, suggested therapy, but Margaret refused. I don't need fixing, she snapped. Yet cracks appeared. She admitted attending a support group for parents of LGBTQ kids. Anonymously. It was hard, she said softly one evening. Ben saw vulnerability, but forgiveness felt distant. Personal conflicts arose between Ben and Jamie. The stress strained their relationship. Jamie felt sidelined. "This is about you and her, but what about us?" he asked during a late-night talk. Ben realized he'd neglected their bond, pulling Jamie closer. "You're my family now," he affirmed. Their quiet moments, walks in the old park, sharing ice cream, reaffirmed their love amid chaos. Emily's rebellion added drama. She came out to Margaret, sparking another explosion. "Not you too," Margaret cried. Ben intervened, defending her. The confrontation forced Margaret to confront her fears, rooted in loss and societal shame. "I thought I was saving you," she told Ben. He replied, "You almost destroyed me." The emotional tug-of-war built, each side pulling with logic born from pain. As the visit extended, Ben uncovered more. Letters from his uncle, hidden in the attic, revealing Margaret's regret over her brother's fate. "She loved him," Emily said. This humanized Margaret, complicating Ben's anger. Was hate born from love twisted by society? The question lingered, setting up deeper revelations. Back in the house that once rejected him, Ben delved deeper into the family archives. With Emily's help, they found old photo albums, images of a younger Margaret smiling with her brother, David, before the rift. "He was her hero," Emily whispered. The discovery fueled Ben's determination to understand, but it also stirred controversy. Margaret caught them, accusing invasion of privacy. "Some things are better left buried," she hissed. Ben retorted, "Like me." The exchange highlighted the ethical dilemma. Does the pursuit of truth justify reopening wounds? Society's influence weighed heavily. Elmwood's community, steeped in Midwestern conservatism, buzzed with gossip about Ben's return. At the local diner, old acquaintances offered backhanded comments. "Heard you're doing well, despite everything." Jamie faced stares, their hand-holding drawing glares. It mirrored national debates. Marriage equality won, but hearts lagged. Ben attended a town hall on education, where proposals to ban LGBTQ books ignited fury. He spoke up, sharing his story, earning applause from some, boos from others. Margaret, present, looked conflicted. Personal growth intertwined with conflict. Ben mentored Emily through her coming out, advising patience. But when she faced bullying at school, notes calling her freak, like her brother, rage boiled. He confronted the principal, demanding action, exposing systemic failures. Jamie supported, but worried. "Don't let this consume you." Their relationship tested further. A heated argument over staying longer led to Jamie storming out. "I love you, but I won't watch you destroy yourself for her approval." Reconciliation came with vulnerability. Ben admitting his fear of abandonment, rooted in that rainy night. Margaret's facade cracked more. During a quiet dinner, she shared David's story fully. Disowned at 18, he moved to San Francisco, thriving briefly before illness struck. "I sent money secretly," she confessed, "but never visited. I was ashamed." Ben saw parallels. Her actions toward him echoed her parents. "Breaking the cycle starts with you," he urged. She resisted, citing faith, but doubt crept in. A pastor's visit, arranged by her, turned contentious when he preached conversion therapy. Ben debunked it with facts from his work, sparking a debate on science versus belief. Emily's crisis escalated drama. She ran away briefly after a fight with Margaret, mirroring Ben's past. Found at a friend's, she declared, "I won't hide like you made Ben." The family united in worry, forcing dialogue. Margaret apologized tearfully to Emily, a step forward, but to Ben, hesitant. "I was wrong," she admitted partially. "But you chose that path." Ben challenged. "Love isn't a choice. Hating it is." The exchange caused ripples. Relatives divided, some supporting Ben, others siding with tradition. Jamie's perspective added depth. From a more accepting family, he pushed Ben toward empathy. "She's a product of her time," he said. But Ben questioned, "Does context excuse harm?" Their late-night talks explored forgiveness's limits, weighing emotional tolls. A romantic gesture, Jamie proposing a commitment ceremony, reaffirmed their bond, but Ben delayed, unfinished business looming. As weeks turned to months, Ben balanced his Chicago life with visits. His job suffered. A promotion slipped away due to absences. "Is this worth it?" Jamie asked. Ben pondered, realizing growth came from confrontation. Society's shifts influenced. A Supreme Court ruling on protections buoyed him, while local backlash hardened Margaret. Pivotal moment arrived at a family reunion. An uncle revealed Margaret's own youthful rebellion, a secret romance with a woman, suppressed. "She chose the right path," he said. Stunned, Ben confronted her privately. "Hypocrite," he accused. Tears flowed as Margaret admitted, "I was scared. I married your father to fit in." The truth unveiled. Her hatred stemmed from self-loathing, projected onto Ben. This twist caused uproar. Family secrets exposed, alliances shattered. Emily embraced it. "We're all human," but Margaret withdrew, guilt overwhelming. Ben felt vindicated yet sorrowful. Was unveiling this mercy or cruelty? The question hung, building toward resolution. With the family secret laid bare, the house became a battlefield of emotions, each member grappling with revelations that challenged their identities. Margaret retreated to her room for days, emerging only for meals, her eyes red-rimmed. Ben, torn between triumph and compassion, spent time with Emily, helping her navigate school support groups. "You don't have to forgive right away," he told her, drawing from his own journey. Jamie, sensing the strain, suggested a break. A weekend in the city to recharge. "We need us," he insisted. Ben agreed, and in Chicago's embrace, they rediscovered joy. Dinners at favorite spots, dances at queer bars where acceptance flowed freely. Returning invigorated, Ben pushed for family therapy. Margaret resisted at first. "We don't air dirty laundry." But Emily's plea swayed her. "For us, Mom." The sessions were raw, therapist probing roots of prejudice, Margaret admitting societal pressures shaped her. "In the 70s, it wasn't an option," she said. Ben shared his homelessness horrors, the fear of assault, the loneliness. Tears bridged gaps. Margaret whispered, "I didn't know." Yet conflicts persisted. She clung to faith, Ben to facts. The therapist highlighted choice, love or dogma. Societal echoes amplified. A local scandal, a gay teacher fired, mirrored their strife, Ben protesting publicly. Margaret watched from afar, conflicted. Relatives weighed in. Some disowned her for her past. Others urged reconciliation. The hypocrisy fueled debates. Why condemn Ben but excuse affairs? Emily, empowered, started a school GSA, facing backlash but gaining allies. Ben beamed with pride, but worried for her safety in a town where old views lingered. Jamie's role evolved. He bonded with Margaret over gardening, sharing stories of his own family's acceptance. "It took time," he said. She softened, asking about their life. "Do you want kids?" she ventured. Ben overheard, heart swelling. Progress? But a slip-up reignited fire. Margaret suggested, praying the gay away. Ben exploded, "That's abuse." The argument exposed limits of change. Jamie mediating, "Intent matters, but impact too." Personal dilemmas deepened. Ben questioned his motives. Was this revenge or healing? Dreams plagued him, alternate lives where Margaret accepted him young. Jamie confessed doubts. "If she hurts you again, I can't stay neutral." Their relationship, once rock-solid, showed cracks under pressure. A quiet evening, they reaffirmed vows. "Through this mess, you're my constant." Emily's growth sparked controversy. Coming out at school led to a petition against her club, parents claiming indoctrination. Ben defended at a board meeting, citing laws and rights. Margaret attended silently, then spoke. "I was wrong about my son. Don't repeat my mistakes." Gasps filled the room. Her public admission shifted tides, the petition failing. Ben felt a thaw, but wariness remained. Deeper truths emerged in therapy. Margaret's marriage to Ben's father was loveless, a cover. "I loved a woman once," she confessed. Ben empathized, seeing her as victim too. "Why not live authentically?" he asked. "Fear," she replied. The session ended in hugs, but outside, society judged. Church friends shunned her. As bonds mended tentatively, Ben planned departure. "We've started healing," he told Jamie, but a final confrontation loomed, Margaret's full apology. Over coffee, she said, "I'm sorry for everything. I was blind." Ben forgave partially. "It'll take time," Emily mediated, family united in fragility. Yet questions lingered. Had unveiling truths liberated or destroyed? Ben pondered as they drove away, Chicago skyline beckoning. In the months following their departure from Elmwood, Ben and Jamie settled back into Chicago life, but the echoes of the confrontation rippled through their days. Ben threw himself into work, advocating fiercer for youth rights, inspired by Emily's courage. Weekly calls with her brought updates. Margaret joined a PFLAG group, slowly unlearning biases. "She's trying," Emily said. Ben nodded, but scars ached. Forgiveness was a process, not a switch. Jamie's proposal resurfaced. They planned a small ceremony, inviting Emily. Margaret's invitation caused debate. "She should see our love," Jamie argued. Ben hesitated. "What if she ruins it?" Ultimately, they extended it, a test of progress. The wedding was intimate, in a lakeside park, friends toasting their journey. Margaret attended, tearful, hugging Ben. "I'm proud." It was a milestone, but whispers from conservative guests highlighted ongoing divides. Society's conflicts persisted. A national backlash against LGBTQ rights, bans on discussions in schools, hit home when Emily's GSA faced threats. Ben rallied support, organizing fundraisers. Margaret surprised by donating anonymously, a quiet allyship. Yet personal clashes arose. During a visit, she slipped into old rhetoric. "God made Adam and Eve," she said. Ben challenged calmly. "And he made me too." Jamie interceded, preventing escalation. Emily's visit to Chicago deepened bonds. She explored the city, attending pride events, eyes wide. "This is freedom," she marveled. Ben and Jamie mentored her, discussing relationships. But drama struck. Margaret discovered Emily's girlfriend, reacting with restraint but concern. "Is this my fault?" she asked Ben over the phone. He replied, "No, it's nature. Support her." The conversation marked growth, but tested limits. Ben reflected on his path from exile to empowerment. Success at work led to a book deal chronicling his story. Publishing stirred controversy. Reviewers praised raw emotion, but critics called it agenda-pushing. Family read it. Margaret's feedback was mixed, painful, but eye-opening. It sparked debates online. Forgiveness versus accountability. Jamie's career flourished too, in graphic design, their home a haven of creativity. Quiet evenings discussed futures. Adoption, perhaps, but past shadows loomed. Ben's nightmares lessened, replaced by hope. A final visit to Elmwood sealed arcs. Margaret hosted dinner, apologizing fully. "I chose fear over love. Forgive me?" Ben did, embracing her. Emily announced college plans in Chicago, family evolving. As Ben drove away, peace settled. Yet one question nagged, prompting reflection. Was forcing the truth out the right choice, or would silence have preserved more peace?